All right, we're back. You know the drill. I lost. Let's just get into the news right here. Adam, what trades we got?
First one was a nice big one. Evan and Ethan struck a deal. Evan got Juju Smith-Schuster. Ethan got a 2025 third.
Juju is the wide receiver one on the Patriots.
No, Pop Douglas.
Juju is involved in the offense.
He had his best game of the year as soon as he got out of Ethan's toxic locker room and over to
You heard it here.
the
Those are some bold
Anteaters.
accusations. Care to elaborate?
Nope, he just needed to go to the Anteaters, and then he was able to break 10 points for the first time all year. Somehow still only like 26. It was a trade. And then we actually get to the big trade that happened. James and Steve struck a deal. Steve got Debo and Chuba Hubbard. James got Kendre Miller, Steve's 2026 first, Zach's 2024 second, and Ethan's 2024 second.
I'm going to address the camera directly here. I ask this question to a few people sometimes. James, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing to me? Yeah, I'm not mad that you traded with Steve. I'm happy Steve got this deal. I think it's a good deal for Steve, who is trying to make a playoff push right now. It's a good win-now move. Debo is projected to come back from injury this week. Chuba is the starting running back in Carolina, if we even have that right now. I don't hate the return. Kendre Miller not high on because he didn't really do great when Kamara was out. He had one good week against New England. I guess with Kamara aging, he could be in the future plans for this team.
Yeah, something like Jamal Williams might not be there next year.
Yeah, so maybe it's a good move for the future for James, but my biggest thing is, James, last week, you bought.
Yeah.
Like, the week prior to this trade, you were a buyer. What happened? What is going on? You think you got a compliment. We have him as the third guy in the playoffs in our predictions. He's like, nah, third's not good enough. I'm out of here. So, interesting to see what James does moving forward.
Wait, let's check something.
What are we checking?
Here, you keep talking.
It's I get it. James is more than a few games back.
Okay. I've crunched the numbers.
All right, numbers have been crunched.
If James didn't make this trade and still had Chuba and played him over Kendre Miller, he would have still lost 114.36 to 114.3.
Wow.
So, because I was like, I wonder if James would have pulled out the win if he kept him and played him. Like, Debo didn't play, so it doesn't make anything. And then it's like, now you beat him and we're all at the same record type thing.
Would have been funny.
Yeah, and then Steve might still win too, even if he doesn't. By, again, like, we might have had two, like, under 1 point wins if this trade doesn't happen.
Steve loses without Chuba, or would be losing his backup.
Well, he would have had 4 if he played Kendre Miller.
Okay.
And I guess he probably would have played McKinnon, who still got 10. So
I
Steve
guess
probably still wins.
Probably still wins that one. Cran pulled it out for me.
But I do. Yeah, I think it's interesting. Both of these teams have bought and sold multiple times this year.
Because
didn't he just?
I want to say, hey, it looks like we have our two directions for these teams, but like, who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, I thought it was also interesting that he moved Debo, who was like 27, still has Hopkins, 31.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I guess Debo carries a little bit of value, a little
yeah,
more value.
more than.
Um,
I don't know. I thought it was an interesting deal. I do like it for Steve. Those 2 seconds, Ethan and Zach both are looking good for the playoffs. So probably going to be late. Kendra Miller again. We'll have to see what he is next year, but not super promising this year. And
more
then
of a question mark.
Steve's first, 2026. Steve will buy and sell 35 more times before that gets there. So we'll see what cycle it is. If it's on a sell year or a buy year or a buy day.
I'll say this: James and Steve are probably the 2 most interesting teams because again, we just talked about James gave up a lot of future assets to get, Sanders, Hopkins, all these guys, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, and it wasn't like he lost this week and then did this. It was like prior to this coming week.
Yeah.
So if James pulls out the win, which I guess mathematically he wouldn't have, we'd have like a 4-way tie for the playoffs.
Yeah, it would be really close. No, me and Steve would be a game up, and then James and Jasmus would both be a game behind. But yeah, I guess losing, and now looking at it, I guess it does work out for him. He's now 2 games behind 3 teams with 5 left to play. So who knows? It does look like he's kind of bowed out of the playoffs competition for now.
Don't say that right now, because tomorrow I'm gonna be in the office. He's gonna say, "You see the newest deal I just did?" And it's gonna be him buying fucking Adam Thielen and somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think this puts Steve in a good position to make the playoffs in our bad division, and it gets James some picks to get younger and try to round out the team over the next few drafts.
I guess, man. Any other news we got to talk about here?
No trades.
No other trades. Any big injuries this week that I can remember off the top of my head? KJ Osborne got a concussion.
Yeah, Dallas Goddard broke his forearm.
Yeah.
There's probably one that I'll see and remember in a little bit in power rankings. And we are back with power rankings. And we're back with Ryan at 12.
Is that going to be your intro to power rankings every week for the rest of the year?
I mean, it's already been it every week, but...
Week 1?
But there's been 3, I think, weeks where you haven't been 12. Jalen Hurts is good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Jets offense is not.
Cole Kmet's good. You like scoring touchdowns. Sometimes I forget what happens and I look at these and I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's bad.
Took you like 5 different players to score 10 total points.
6 if you count Gabe Davis.
Yeah. Watson, Flowers, Gabe, Mingo, and Roshan. They got you to 10.
It's at
total.
It's amazing how like Hurts and Kmet combined for almost 50, and I finished with 74 points.
Yeah, there was even a time where you looked like you might win.
Yeah.
How were you feeling at that time? Excited or sad? Are we at the point of
I was so excited that I was gonna win the game, man, and it overwhelmed me. And then I guess the best way I could sum up this game was Noah Brown's 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah, he was cooking for some reason.
Yeah.
Number 11, still gonna have Matt.
Did slightly better than me.
Just better. I guess JSN caught the ball 6 times, so that's good. I think it's kind of been trending upward in the usage over these past few weeks, so could be a solid piece there. Rashee Rice didn't do a ton, but then did score a touchdown. He's been a solid option as a young guy. Garrett Wilson is, again, the Jets' only receiver. It's literally him. Alan Lazard, who has a 40% drop rate, and undrafted free agents. Rest of the team kind of did fine. Brian Robinson found the end zone. Will Levis did not this week, but I thought he looked decent playing. Like, he didn't look horrible out there, even though the fantasy points weren't necessarily there. Yeah, I guess he's in the contention with Evan rooting for Matt to lose to try to get pick 1.
Get that pick.
And then I think the other team that's in that competition now is number 10, James. We did talk about the trade, but then he also almost did win.
Yeah. He was winning until Eckler did things.
Tight ends? What?
Lots of them.
Cade Otton, 23, and Dalton Schultz, 27. He got 50 combined running the 2 tight end set. Half of his points were from the 2 tight end set.
Sadly, Patrick Mahomes is washed.
Mahomes didn't do his best. Kendre Miller had 1 catch for 31 yards, and that was all of his points. Brandon Cooks, not really involved. OBJ finally had a decent game, but again, and then Pickens. Pickens wants to quit the Steelers now.
Yeah.
Since Deontay came back, he has not been good. We'll see if that turns around, if they get him more involved, or if this is just what's new for him. But yeah, I don't think James is the worst team out of these at the bottom, but
no, it's very hard to be me.
He does, like, technically still have a chance at the playoffs. Has me twice, me once, Steve once, Jasmus once, and you. So, like, if he turns things around, could still somehow get in the playoffs. Like, it's not completely out of it, but a win this week would have been nice. 9. We have Steve at 9. I think this is that next bunch that's all pretty close. Steve won this week.
He did, by 7.04 points. Would have lost to James by 0.63. Which would have been interesting if this had been the case.
But Terry did okay. Kincaid is getting targeted like crazy. Myers found the end zone. He had everybody on his team did solid enough. No one really stood out and was able to pull out the win. He will be adding Debo to this. We'll also be adding Christian Kirk, who was on a bye, and James Conner off of IR. All good players. Debo with that possibility to be really good. I don't think he has anyone truly elite, which kind of limits his ceiling, but if you have a week where everybody's putting up like 10 to 15, that's going to get you over that 100-point mark and could hopefully win you games if you get a little bit lucky.
Yeah.
8, I have Jasmus. Jasmus pulled at the win with 114 points. It's so weird with Jasmus.
I don't get it.
I can't tell what's going on. Amari Cooper had a big game, but also like one of his touchdown was going to be like a pick that bounced off the defensive lineman's head and then went over the guy jumping the route to him. I don't know if you saw that one.
That was one of the weirder ones.
But like that's basically the swing in this game. Cooper Kupp, 3 straight weeks at 6 points.
Is Cooper Kupp washed?
I don't think I'm gonna say that yet, but I don't think he's the same. Gus Edwards, 5 touchdowns in 2 weeks.
I don't get it, man. I don't.
I guess 6 touchdowns. He's like the RB1 over the past 3 weeks, which is crazy to say. Does he keep that up?
Does Jasmine still have Ogletree?
Yeah, I think on the taxi. Yeah.
What did Jasmine know?
This is the first week Najee broke. Or I guess he had 15 2 weeks ago too, but kind of looked decent and got into the end zone. And then Eckler. Eckler's not been good.
No.
But if you find the end zone twice, that's good. Granted, one was like a pick that went out at the 1, so they just were able to hand it in to him and get there. But he hasn't been that efficient on the ground. Had a few drops last game, so wasn't super efficient in the air. He's kind of had like one big play at the start of each game, and then after that, since coming back from that ankle, like kind of been So I don't know what to think of Jasmus's team. If Gus Edwards keeps up this hot streak, Eckler gets a little more efficient, and Cooper Kupp bounces back, could be really good. If Eckler doesn't find the end zone, Gus Edwards doesn't find the end zone, and Kupp doesn't step up with Carson Wentz maybe now.
They cut both their other QBs.
Yeah, and Stafford might not be good to go, so if that happens, I don't know.
That is something.
7, I have myself. Put up 101 this week. Ramondre finally kind of looked pretty good again.
Yeah.
Put up 22. Over the past 4 weeks, he's looked a lot better. Had some tough defenses at the start of the year, but has some easier defenses on the road ahead. Saquon did his thing, put up about 15. Dax looked way better over these past few weeks, too. They're kind of letting him sling it. Has put up over 20 in the past 3, which he did not over the beginning. But then the rest of my team didn't really do much, including a 0 from Michael Thomas.
Guess they can guard Mike.
I guess they can. But yeah, with Goddard's injury, I don't know. My team looks... Got this. I kind of have the studs, but the rest of the team isn't always there, so it's kind of tough to say how my team's gonna roll out. 6, I have Evan. This might be a little bit high, considering he only put up 97, but he does have the better record. But Herbert didn't do much, but Noah Brown did. And that's all it really
Noah
took
Brown,
to beat
75-yard touchdown.
I think Devonta Smith is due for some good weeks with Goddard injury. When they're all 3 are healthy, it's kind of been tough, but Goddard got hurt at the end of last year too. Missed like 4 weeks, and over that stretch, I think Smith was like wide receiver like 7. So could see a big uptick there. Madison found the end zone, and with Akers.
Dunzolio.
Yeah, tearing that Achilles. I guess it's going to be his show. So, who knows? Gibbs off by. Could be decent going forward. 5, I have Cherry. Cherry put up 100, but got the loss. Kenneth Walker was here, and has started to kind of fall back down, playing less snaps too. Bijan, they hate.
Yeah.
It's weird.
You know what? He must have had a nightmare and wasn't tucked into bed properly the night before, so they probably wanted to rest him.
They stopped throwing him the ball that he was in the beginning, and he has 1 carry inside the 5-yard line all year. So he's not getting the 2 like good things for fantasy, catches and touchdowns, and he's not getting a ton of volume. It's weird. But Rashad White's really good. 2 touchdowns. Has been over 15 for 3 straight. And Njoku found the end zone. And he did this with Sutton and Calvin Ridley on a bye, so we'll see if he pulls out some wins. 4, have Zach. You gotta kind of feel for Zach this week. Put up the 2nd most points, but happened to play the person that was facing the most. Aaron Jones looked good.
Devontae Adams, did Devontae Adams fall off?
I don't know. I don't know if it's again. It's like, is it the Raiders' offense or is it Devontae? But they won pretty handedly over the Giants.
So maybe he just did not passing the ball a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. But CeeDee's been on an absolute tear recently. These last 2 games after the bye, he's been a freak. Over 10 catches in both.
I think this was Thielen's first stinker. Well, second stinker of the year.
Yeah, but he's been really good. Henry, who we had to start, found the end zone. It was a good week. Like, again, he put up 134 points, would have beat everybody else. Just got unlucky with the matchup. 3 have Ethan. Ethan put up 111 while starting Zach Wilson and Rico Dowdle.
Pulled out the dub.
Was able to. He had it tough with buys, but Olave found the end zone. Dotson's been picking it up recently. Diggs is Diggs. Chase, I guess the big question here is he didn't practice with a back injury. If he's out, that definitely hurts this team. He hasn't been the most consistent guy this year. Had a few down weeks to start and then a few blow-up weeks in the middle.
Yeah.
But obviously you want to have him. And Derrick Henry's been doesn't look old and washed. So that's promising. Plus we'll be getting like Travis Kelce back off bye, and again, those RBs. 2 have Trevor, the person who did put up the most points in the league this week. Jacobs found the end zone twice. Taylor really took control of that backfield. A.J. Brown might be the best receiver in the NFL right now. Deontay, again, we talked about, he scored that touchdown for the first time in 600-something days since Ben Roethlisberger. And he's kind of taken over that lead role from Pickens, who had it while he was hurt. Higgins had a pretty big game. Just everybody did well. Put up 152. Was like the highest scorer by far, pretty much.
And wasn't the best score he could have gotten either. He did have Stroud at 41.4 points on the bench. But I would take 150 points. I don't even think I've gotten 150 points in the last 2 weeks.
That might be the case. But we also should look at Puka. Only 6 points. Wonder if that'll change with Wentz.
I think again that was because Brett Ripien was in Ripien.
Yeah. And then number 1 have Griff. He put up 122. Good for third most. Josh Allen. Pretty good at fantasy football. Also did this with Godwin and Josh Downs not having their best weeks. Tank Dell, another 2-touchdown masterclass. And did it with Ayuk and Amon-Ra bye. And no Jefferson, who I think they're not going to bring him back this week. But
they opened his window.
Yeah, so he could be back in the near future. Just a really good team, and that's why he only has 1 loss to the team with 1 win.
Yeah, I'm sure that feels great. The undefeated season comes down to...
The undefeated season and the defeated season were both knocked out at the same time.
Like I said, it was the silliest thing ever.
It would be funny if it stayed the whole way. He goes 1 loss the whole way out. You have 1 win the whole time, and it's like they beat each other. But we'll get to some matchup previews.
Welcome back to Adam Has a Huge Lead. Adam, what happened last week?
Last week, we'll talk about some storylines.
Well, we got them this week. They didn't suck.
Yeah. James and Jasmus, currently. James has played a few more games, but they have the exact same win percentage. All time. Steve, 2-0 versus Cherry.
3-0 now.
This year.
Oh, this year.
2-0 this year. I'm 6-3 all time versus Griff. It says giraffe. Don't know why it says that. But yeah, he got the win twice this year. So he's 2-0 this year. Even this out a little bit. And Evan, who has played you twice this year, has basically scored the exact same amount of points. 3 weeks ago, he put up 97.18. This week, he put up 97.84. And each time, it's been enough to beat you.
Hey, you know what? I'm just happy that my Anteaters went and got the win this week. It was
They
huge.
are also 7-1 against you all time.
Hey, my Anteaters are getting the
Can't
win.
beat the Anteaters when you root for them that hard.
You really can't, you know?
And then with the picks, you went 2-1. We're wrong about James pulling off the upset. But
Yeah,
right
I was.
about Evan winning and Steve winning. Got you 11 points. Brought your all-time record up to 14-13 and 58.3 points. I went 1-2.
Oof, rough week for Adam.
Wrong about me winning. Wrong about Zach winning. Ethan was the only one I got right for 3.2. So you did make up some points this week. My record goes to 20-7 and 82.6 points. So close the gap by about 8-ish points this week.
Just about.
Let's see if that keeps up or if I get back to my picking the right team ways. But you're still going first. Who you taking?
Come on, Adam. Come on. Do I have to remind you again what this is? This is an Anteaters Stan account. We're going with Evan for 5.6 against Matt. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is back.
No Waddle or Devontae.
No Waddle or Devontae, but we got Judy. We got Madison, who, once again, back in the only running back on the team role. Noah Brown looked really good. 9:30 a.m. game for Juju. I think...
Ran out of stuff to say.
I did. Hey, Jonnu Smith is the most used tight end that Arthur Smith has.
True.
Right. I like some of these matchups. I'm taking Evan here. I think that even with Josh Dobbs, problem with Garrett Wilson is he still has Zach Wilson thrown at him. Rashid Shaheed, I feel like is either going to be 3 points or 30. I'm leaning towards 3 this week. It is Minnesota, so maybe not. But I do like Evan's team this week. Give me them Anteaters.
I think this is, well, first we'll say Evan is 4-1, and in their history, they've only played on either a week 9, 10, or 11. So around this time of the year, they're always playing never early, never too late, right around
Right
this,
here.
like, mid-late. Also, let's have a quick talk about how bad Matt is. Matt, if he wins, will get his 20th win ever. 20th.
How many days ago did James get his 20th win?
I think it was 2019. And Matt's still searching. I was Ethan, who's been in the league for 20 less games, is already past 20. He's at 27. Steve got his way up to 8. Matt's only at 19. Matt, if he loses, will be the first person in league history to 60 losses.
60.
60 losses.
60 Like, we just had the race for 50, I think it was, with
Wins, yeah, with Griffin Trevor.
Griffin Trevor. This is the race to 60 losses.
It's a blowout.
Yeah.
No one else has 50. I believe the next highest is you with 43. And there's a lot of
Okay.
teams around like 40.
So we got, like, halfway through next year till I hit that.
If you lose out all the way this season and next season, you'll just be hitting like 60 losses. Matt's an all-time loser.
I guess so.
He's one of the best at it. But I do think he could pull out the win. I like some of these matchups. Denver's defense is bad. Maybe James Cook gets it going. JSN been getting used a little bit more. Laporta's back in the lineup. Algier, Arizona's horrible against the run. Why would they use Bijan? They're going to use him. And then Garrett Wilson, he's their only receiver. I think they might throw it to him. We got Brandon Powell still in the lineup.
Hey, Brandon Powell got a touchdown last week.
Yeah. He did.
KJ Osborne's still questionable with a concussion. He might be wide receiver 2 on the day.
Might. He just might. I just, Also, how do you think Evan... This is like a huge game for Evan.
It is. I have...
This is his Super Bowl.
It might even be a must-lose game.
Win.
Or must-win game.
Because he has Matt's pick. So if Matt beats Evan, not only does Evan lose, but Matt wins, and that gets him, would fall to currently pick 3, but also make it 2 games, unless you win, make it 2 games out of pick 1. So this is a huge game for him. He's got all, like, his 2 best receivers on a bye. I think it'll be really close in the same way that, like, you and Evan were close. Is like, hey, whoever gets closest to 100 wins. But, like, this is a very big matchup for Evan.
Must-win game for my Anteaters.
And you think they pull it out?
I think they pull it out.
I think it'll be really close. This will be a fun one to watch.
This might be matchup of the week.
It possibly could be. My pick.
Get him.
I'm gonna go Griff over Cherry for 4.3.
All right. Griff versus Cherry. Griff will have Amon-Ra and Ayuk back. On bye is DeAndre Swift. And, of course, Braxton Berrios, who has been cut next week for a while now. Yeah, this is a game. Cherry, I think, has dropped, 3 straight? Not against Griff, just 3 straight. It doesn't tell me on...
He's done 4.
4 straight.
Started off 5-0, and then...
dropped 4 straight.
I think it'll turn into 5. I think it'll be a close matchup. Another game I think is close. I think this is another big one for Griff, who's still trying to get that bye, and a big one for Cherry, who's trying to sneak his way into the playoffs still. I think Pollard could get finally a big bounce back versus the Giants. He's been majorly disappointing this year. He was like going round 1 in like redraft leagues and has kind of stunk it up. But it's like Bijan should have like 20 points.
He will not.
He might have like 7,
he might have 7 carries.
Yeah. Same thing with Kenneth Walker. It's like, I think there's just a few more questions on Cherry's side. I feel a little bit more comfortable on Griff's. That's why I'm sticking with Griff. But Cherry is 5-2 all-time versus Griff, and that is easily Griff's like worst record against out of anybody in the league. Cherry is the main person to have Griff's number. So we'll see if Cherry can keep up that magic or if Griff turns things around.
We will see. My next pick. Not a lot of great matchups this week, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Not great. I guess I'll take the next. They got me last week. They're gonna help me out again this week. I think if last week didn't do it, this is the week that will do it. The Ryan hates the Cran narrative. I'm euthanizing it right now. The Cran take this one for 3.8 points. Here's the thing, all right? For 3 weeks, Adam's been telling me to start Taysom Hill. What's Taysom Hill done? 16, 22, 22. I'm starting Taysom Hill at QB this week.
That's not good.
Here comes the big 3-point stinker. So, yeah, not looking great. Haven't cracked 100 in a while. Well, I did it against Trevor, but that was the first time in a while before that. And, yeah, is Devin Singletary going to start again? Probably. Is he going to get 3 points? Probably. Roshan fucking sucks. They're putting in D. Evans over him. Gainwell's on a bye. Chark's not playing, so maybe that boosts Mingo a little bit. But knowing how I pick Panthers wide receivers, Terrace Marshall's going to have a career game. Cole Kmet is good at football, and I need my 3 main receivers to try this week. Watson did bad. Flowers had 1 catch, and Gabe had a target that was stared down and thrown at the cornerback, so kind of hard for him to do something there. Meanwhile, Steve's getting Deebo Samuel back this week. Potentially James Conner. Jerome Ford's good. He's got surprised. Does he not have Gus anymore?
We've talked about Jasmus having him the whole time.
That's a different league where Steve has Gus. My apologies. Jasmus does have Gus. We'll get to that later. And I think Steve takes it. That's enough of Ryan rambling. Adam, give us the hard facts.
I do think Steve takes this one. Again, you look at Steve's team, and there's a lot of guys, basically everybody, where you're like, yeah, they could get 10. I don't feel the same way about your team.
Bro, I'm lucky if they get 5.
You're lucky if they combine for 10. But you are 2-1 versus Steve, losing the matchup earlier this year. And it's funny, I do think, you're going to play your 4th game versus Steve in 2 years.
Yep.
And so far, you've only played 4 games versus Ethan, who's been in this league for...
This is
3.5. Like, yeah, this is, like, I guess, going on to his 4th year in
Yeah.
the league. So you've only played him 4 times, and this is your 4th time playing Steve.
This is
I think you do have
second.
Ethan in, like, a week or 2. But,
Do I now? I do not. I've already played Ethan this year,
oh.
I guess.
Then, yeah, well, you're at the same amount as Steve and Ethan.
Yeah, that week 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one to forget.
Yep.
But, yeah, I think it's funny. You're at the same amount, and Steve's so new, and Ethan is...
Not so new, but
not
newer.
so- yeah. But, yeah, I think I agree Steve pulls this one out. Next, I'm going to take Zach over me for 3.9 points. We have not been too hot on the upsets so far.
And also, Adam threatens to blow it up every 5 seconds the second the camera stops rolling. He's
And
like,
and buy.
yeah,
Last week I was buying. Didn't.
you're letting
now I might blow it up.
You're letting your division rivals control your mood.
They buy and sell so fast that I think of the same thing. It's
Well,
a great time.
One of them is going to sell by the time this video's out. So let's hold
to the
on.
other one that's not buying.
Yeah.
It's a fun time. Yeah, I got some tough matchups, and I don't have a ton of depth. Zach, his team's good. He's getting McCaffrey back in there. CeeDee's been on fire. At least I'll have Dak to kind of counteract that. Thielen gets a better matchup this week where I think he kind of picks it up. I think Devontae might still struggle going up against the Jets. But, I don't know. You look at my side, I don't feel great about DJ Moore against Carolina. Carolina's pass D's been solid, and Tyson Bagent hasn't.
Biggest thing is that it's looking like C.J. Henderson for the Panthers is out with a concussion that he suffered Sunday. So, we will see.
Maybe that'll help him out a little bit. I don't know. It's tough. I currently am starting Wan'Dale Robinson, who will be catching balls from DeVito against the Cowboys.
There's no way this is worse than week 1, right?
I don't know.
So how quickly do we see Matt Barkley out of this game?
Hopefully soon. But Zach is 3-2 all time against me. He's won the last 3, and we have only played each other once every year.
Whereas I'm on my 2nd year of seeing Steve twice.
Yeah, me and Zach in 6 years. This is our 6th matchup.
There you go.
Your next pick?
My next pick. Not a lot to choose from. So 2 games to pick from. I will go for more points. I gotta go out and say it, man. the Crusade fell the fuck off. Like, last year was the Crusade might be the hottest team in the league. This year it's the Crusade fell off. Maybe it's time to boot up the anti-Crusade narrative. Christ on a bike, dude.
Starting Tommy DeVito.
I just clicked the matchup. I see the first three guys I see is Tommy DeVito, Miles Sanders, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Talk about Cooks, dude. Brandon Cooks, he's out there. Drake London, he's not getting the fucking ball. Pickens, he's not getting the fucking ball. K-Dot, Dalton Schultz could be good. Hopkins, we'll see. Mahomes on a bye, and Christ, guys. Maybe Fat Lenny can get it going for Buffalo. Who knows? I guess it looks a little better with Dameon Pierce, but is Dameon Pierce even that good?
Yeah.
So yeah, Crusade fell off. Give me wide receiver U, who I think beats James at every spot. Like if I'm going just matchup by matchup, I think it's pretty clear this one's going to be wide receiver U ball.
Yeah, I agree. I do think Trevor pulls this out. You look at James's team, and the QB and the running back, those first three are just deadly. Wide receiver-wise, like if Pickens gets going and London gets targeted, Hopkins is good, could survive there, and then that double tight end showed that they could pull out some magic last week, but, man, DeVito will probably get negative points.
Most likely.
And I don't think that RB duo is going to really go off for more than 5 points combined. Maybe Miles Sanders does a little bit better, but it's kind of been the Breece Hall show, not Dalvin. So yeah, I think Trevor wins. James has won 2 of the last 3, but Trevor is 5-3 all time. But I think Trevor indeed pulls this one out, and now we've got
Take him.
Ethan versus Jasmus.
Take him. Take him. Take him.
Should I do it just for fun?
Do it. Do it.
Do it. Fine. I'm taking Jasmus.
For 7.3 points. He's calling the Jasmus upset.
We're calling... Okay, Jasmus... If we could combine Jasmus and James to one team, they'd do all right this week, because he has no receivers. He does have running backs, but no receivers.
Hey, Mac Hollins had more and has been doing okay.
What?
He's been doing
He's
okay.
never scored more than 10 points.
That's why I said okay.
Sure. Okay, here's the narrative on how Jasmus wins. He's got the better tight end matchup with Evan Ingram versus Kylan Granson. Might score 0. There's no Kelsey. I think I might have said Kelsey was on a bye last week for some reason. But it's this week. I might have said that earlier.
Whoopsie-doo.
Okay, Jamar Chase, questionable. He's out. Boom.
Gus Edwards might get 4 touchdowns this week.
He's in his last 3 games, he's had 1, 3, and then 2. The only logic is 4.
Yes.
Foreman versus Carolina. They got the good pass D, not the good run D.
No,
He's going to go for 3 again. Eckler, not super efficient, but could find the end zone. Could do that against Detroit. Is Najee back? Maybe. And then if Watson goes to Amari again, sure. ETN against and Lawrence against San Fran D. Could be capped a little bit. It's not likely, but it's for a ton of points, and it's fun. So, yeah, Jasmus pulling off the upset. Jasmus is also 4-1 versus Ethan. So he's had his number.
Got the history.
The only time Ethan won was in the championship game against him.
Ethan's never beat him in the regular season.
And it's not going to start now. Jasmus, huge upset this week. Who needs Cooper Kupp when you have Mac Hollins and Nick Westbrook-Akine?
You heard it here first, folks. Peer pressure works. Anything else today?
No, I think that's good.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week when Adam has either blown it up or bought, and then
Or
James
most
bought.
likely,
Most
I
likely-
did nothing.
Most likely Adam did nothing and James bought from Steve. Have a good one.